I just wanted to make this video to say, people on disability shouldn't have to run around to pharmacies and offices. The hospital should be the ones that make sure that the products are covered for the people that have disabilities. Now the pharmacies, I'm getting tired of going to the pharmacies. Go to these pharmacies and it's like they try to make everything out to be your fault. Meanwhile, they work in healthcare. If they don't know anything about healthcare, maybe they shouldn't be working in the pharmacy. It's almost like they're more concerned about how they look and how other people look than they are helping people. It's the same way with the family doctors. Like, I had to go across town to deliver a fax. Meanwhile, all they had to do was fax the paperwork over to the office that's on York Street. And, why couldn't they fax it themselves? Why do they make people go across town to do that? If it's a policy you can't fax something, then maybe you should change your policy, because it doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't be able to fax something from your office to another office that's medical related. When I show up to a pharmacy and I'm asking for help, I shouldn't be talked to like, it's my fault that, I'm asking for help. And I get sent to the front for a medical related thing that I'm there for. The front desk ain't gonna be able to help me, the pharmacy is. Like I said, if you don't know nothing about healthcare, maybe you shouldn't work there. If your patience for helping people is not there, then maybe you shouldn't work there. Maybe it's not the right job for you. As far as family doctors go, it shouldn't be this hard to get a family doctor in Canada. I've been in a town of 500,000 people, and it's been such a challenge to get a family doctor. I sent an application to a family doctor and I'm going to be waiting for a response if I'm even accepted. Because apparently you have to go to a meeting first before they decide if you're accepted as a patient. And even if you're at the hospital, in the ICU, they're discharging people without a family doctor, which is unacceptable. They're also holding people against their will at the hospital. I know, I was there, I seen it. Basically what they did with my elder is they kept my elder there in ICU as he needed to be there, but he was sent home after the ICU stay with the main PICC line left in. Once he got home, he was told to return to the hospital and get the PICC line removed. While that process was taking place, he was still under sedation from the ICU from propofol and Dilaudid. When he got to the hospital decided that they were going to play dumb and not know that he was still under the sedation, and they put him on the 7th floor of the hospital where he shouldn't have been. He stayed on the 7th floor for almost 2 months and was formed a bunch of different times for no reason at all. It was the fault was on the hospital for playing dumb and not realizing, I guess, or whatever, that the sedation hadn't wore off. And it took a while for the sedation to wear off and for the person to come back into reality. The forming process in the hospital also takes place in the emerge wing of the hospital. They form people in the emerge all the time. And usually the cause of forming is usually because if you're talking weird, you're still under sedation. That's what they like to do, is form people to make sure that the safety of the person, I guess, is okay. So they keep you at the hospital against your will. And if you try to leave, they phone the police on you. While I was in the emerge, there was about 4 people that tried to leave. One person got on a city bus and took off, and the cops were called on the woman, and they brought the woman back and put her in an isolation room in the hospital. The isolation rooms in the emerge are not no game to play around. They put you in a room, in a bed with straps, like a sane asylum, and they bring you your food when they feel that they're ready to bring you your food. And they will let you lay in shit and piss and not care. When you're on the 2nd floor of the hospital, in the regular wing, there's major problems with incontinence issues and people left in soiled diapers and soiled linens. I know this because I was changing my own elder's linens and stuff like that. And there was incontinence products being left in bags, paper bags. It was disgusting. Our healthcare system needs help, and the federal and provincial government aren't doing it. They're not doing enough to help our healthcare system, and we're overpopulated, and there's not enough services to help the amount of population that there is. We also have homeless people that are living at the hospital as well. When I was there for a sick elder, but there's also people that are living at the hospital that have nowhere to go, or that were discharged from the hospital that have nowhere to go. So they're living at the hospital. They're tearing down a lot of buildings, but we have a lot of homeless too in the city. Some of the buildings are beyond repair and need to come down. The ones that were built prior to 1960, the ones that were built in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Some of them are beyond repair or full of asbestos, and so they have to come down. Life's pretty challenging for me as I don't have a vehicle like you see all these people driving their cars. I don't have a vehicle, so for me to get around it's pretty challenging. I take the city bus or I'm walking or driving a bike, so I don't have the luxury of driving around in cars and stuff like that. I can't afford it. The cars are too expensive. The insurance is way too expensive. The gas is too expensive. And the insurance is way too expensive. I myself have disabilities. I have physical disabilities and mental health problems. But I'm not on the disability system yet. So I'm still stuck on the OW system, and I don't get very much money. So both my parents passed away. My mom in 1995 and my dad in 2001, and my family got no compensation, so we were kind of left in the dust. And my elders and my family spent their life savings looking after us, so they don't have a lot of money either. Now the father of my mother, my grandfather would be my grandfather. He's not around anymore. As far as in our life, he has his own life in London. He lives in London, but he does his own thing. He doesn't come around anymore. So there's no help from family other than the people that are in my family that do help. So I don't like to rely on my family for help, so I try to do things on my own. I just recently lost a brother, Kyle, in the city here, and that really hurt me to realize that the government's not doing enough to help people. I wish I could have did more to help my brother. There's not much I could do. I only get so much money. And there's a lot of issues in the city here with addictions issues and homelessness, and there's a lack of housing, a big lack of housing. So people that need to get housing have a hard time. They won't let you in these buildings if you have a criminal record. I was fortunate enough to get in because I don't have a criminal record, but there's a lot of people that do that can't get in. My only hope for London is that things get better. And there's more help for the poor. But with the conservative government, they don't seem to want to help. They're more focused on getting in and playing a domination game than helping the people of this country. The Liberal Party does a lot of talking, and they don't help either. People say there's more help with the Liberals, but I wasn't one of those people that got served, so I don't really see the whole help being given, but there is a lot more than the Conservatives are doing, in terms of programs and services. The Conservatives want to cut, and the Liberals will give a little bit, but not enough. And the NDP are out there. They do good things too, but they also don't do enough. And so I look at all these parties like, they do a lot of talking, but they don't do a lot of helping. And they're all controlled by the King Charles man over there in England. So, our police forces here in London are controlled by that too. There's a reason why there's a crown over at the police station on the sign. There's a reason why. It's because they're controlled by the crown. And the hospital is called Victoria Hospital for a reason, because it was controlled, and it still is controlled by Crown Victoria. And it's not to say I don't care about the police or I don't care about our health workers. I do. I very much do. I just don't like who they work for. Anyway, I hope everybody has a good Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks for watching this video.